First, they told us that our safety was at risk. They told us that the goal was to rid our communities of dangerous assault-style military weapons. Then, they said that the real problem were the handguns, so they put a freeze of the transfer and purchase of those already restricted firearms. And now, we're facing another ban proposed by this new bill. We have been silent for far too long, endured too much. I am Božidar, a Canadian citizen but Bulgarian by birth. And if there is something that Bulgarian history can teach us, it is that freedom can only be maintained if we fight for it. What is Bill C-21? It is the newest gun ban proposed by the Liberal Party of Canada, and on its list there are lots of weapons which they say are assault-style military weapons. Justin Trudeau would say that the problem are guns that can kill a large number of people in a very short period of time. However, there are lots of members of parliament that oppose this new gun ban, not only from the Conservative Party, but also from the NDP and the Liberal Party of Canada. Indeed, this bill is very controversial because it is not really clear why some guns are on the list while others aren't. So one of the biggest problems with this new gun ban is the problem of definition. An assault gun doesn't really mean anything. In Canada, there are three main types of weapons talking legally. So we have the prohibited, the restricted, and the non-restricted. In the prohibited type fall all the weapons that are automatics, military, that have larger magazine capacity, let's say more than 5 rounds. In the restricted and non-restricted category fall the handguns and also all the hunting rifles, the semi-automatics. So those are guns that are available to the general citizen who pass their safety gun class. In this debate, we're focusing a lot on hunting guns because there are lots of hunting guns that are banned in this new gun ban. For example, the SKS. Some people are gonna say this is not really a hunting rifle. Well, there are lots of people that would say otherwise. There are lots of native hunters and subsistence hunters that use SKS because it is cheap, it's readily available, and it's easy to use. So you can't say that hunting rifles are not on the list. Another problem with this new gun ban is that we associate the gun with the violent act that was perpetrated. So we're gonna point to these mass shootings, and those are horrible things that were done by those people, and there is absolutely no excuse for the criminals that perpetrated those acts. But however, the gun can't do those acts on itself. The real problem are the criminals and not the guns. Often enough, mass shooters or criminals in general are gonna use guns that were obtained illegally. So what Justin Trudeau is doing with this new legislation is he's using the tragedy to justify his new bill and to make himself look good in front of some voters. And in this way, he looks like he is doing something, while in actuality, he isn't doing anything. Criminals are still gonna be able to get guns because anyways they're getting them illegally. This bill isn't really gonna protect anyone. So what can we do to oppose this bill? First of all, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it with as many people as possible. We can also write letters to our government representatives telling them why and how this affects us. If possible, we have to sign petitions against this bill. And most of all, we have to educate people around us. So if you have a friend that has never shot a gun in his life, why don't you bring him to the shooting range? Why don't you show him the basics of gun safety and show him that guns are not only weapons, that they can be also tools and they can be very fun to use. Why does the government want so desperately to take our guns from us? Is it for our safety? If it was, why aren't cars banned in Canada? Are they afraid of the people rebelling and possibly overthrowing them? I don't think so. Their firepower is much superior than this of people with scrappy old SKS and semi-automatic rifles. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Indeed, the government isn't afraid of you overthrowing them physically. They aren't really against the guns, but what the guns represent. Years of tradition, passed from father to son, values of strength, courage, love, and independence. If they can destroy that, they can control our lives. Keep us divided to rule us better. Destroy our families so that we can only turn to them for help.